Coming up on this episode of Don't Panic, we've got all sorts of technology news, including Apple giveth and Apple taketh away, the end of free iTunes radio. We also talk about GoPro going down the drain, EA getting a subscription, and Netflix going spend crazy. They're the $6 billion man, and we're going to talk about them coming up on Don't Panic. This is Don't Panic, episode number 117, recorded January 18th, 2016, on EA Monthly, paid radio, and the $6 billion stream. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on Gadgets, the Internet, and You. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by the Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen of technology. It's double trouble. Dan Miller and Colby Rabideau.
For a second, I thought that Mary, Kate, and Ashley were three people.
And
I was gonna call BS on your intro.
Oh, no, you got to remember the hyphen. It's all about the hyphen.
Mary Kate. What a name. Couldn't decide on one name, so you got to give them two names.
Maybe they thought they were getting triplets, and one of them ate the other in utero? I don't know. That's a good question.
Did you know my full name is Colby Jack?
I had forgotten that.
That's not
That
true
never gets old.
for anyone.
That never gets old.
But your middle name is Cotton, so...
You're not wrong.
So there's that.
Yeah.
You can sit at home and make yourself smile with that little trivia. I do.
And make yourself smile at it. That's awesome. Oh boy. Well, gentlemen, what's going on?
I saw Colby this weekend.
Awesome.
There's birthday parties. We celebrated Martin Luther King.
Of
the
course.
only way we know how, by walking around and drinking in New York City.
So basically a normal day.
Yes.
Yeah. However, Sean, I think you probably have the most exciting tale to tell amongst the people here.
Well, I don't know if exciting is the right word, but yes, that you're absolutely right, Dan. I built a computer over the weekend, a PC. I would show it to you, but it's sitting over here and it's weighs 1,000 pounds, so I'm not going to move it and show it to you. But yeah, so Windows PC, got all of the parts. Pay attention towards the end of the show for my pick, which is the best resource I found to do this. Bought all the components, had them shipped in, and I assembled it. And the fun part for me, and this was actually, I was really surprised, was I periscoped the whole thing. And we had about 70 people coming and going over the 2 hours it took me to build it. And people were asking questions, and I was chatting with them while I was doing it. It was a lot of fun, actually. So,
wow. I wish I had seen that.
yeah, it was great.
And I can't because it's not goddamn recorded. It's like Snapchat.
Well, the good news is, Dan, I did record it. So, yeah. So I haven't decided whether I'm gonna put it up fully, edit it, or not put it up at all. So I got to think about it because there's a lot of me like, oh shit, I did that wrong. Crap, I got to pull it out and do it again. I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. Oh man, why won't the screw go in? God damn it. Stuff no one wants to.
I wonder how small it would edit down to.
I mean, I've seen PC build videos in as little as 7 minutes.
Oh my God.
My 2 hours. But then again, there was kind of the asking questions, which was fun, and not that I'm an you guys know I'm not an expert. People are like, oh well, why did you buy that? What's the what do you prefer when you're building? And I'm like, I don't.
What? What was an example of a question that you got?
Well, it was obvious, like, what parts did you buy and stuff, but then there was one guy who was like, what about sound mixing? Do you think what you're building would be good for sound mixing? Do you think it's too much or too little? I'm into making metal music, and I wanna build a machine. So people were really. There was one woman who was asking if I was single and was trying to ask me out. She lived in Canada and was far older than me, so sadly was not a match connection.
What part of Canada?
What part? Montreal or something like that. So not too far.
Yeah, Montreal's not bad.
No. But it was a really. There was one guy who hung around for over an hour. So it was honestly fun. And I really enjoyed doing that. And I'd like to do more things like that. But so far the computer is working. All the pieces fit and work. And hopefully we'll see improvements in the show. Starting with, if you're watching this on YouTube, congratulations, because you're seeing it in 720p HD. And you're seeing our new graphics package. And hopefully soon we will get it streaming live when we do the shows on Monday night.
So, do you What's the coolest thing you've done with the computer so far? I know you haven't had it that long.
Honestly, doing this right now is the coolest thing I've done with it. The one thing I kind of ran out of time. I was going to do today, and then I had to do business on my day off. But was get Steam on and actually try doing some games stuff and really pushing it. Because hypothetically, I've got the equipment to do some pretty high quality gaming, and so that's next. And actually, I'm thinking about maybe even trying the EA subscription, which we'll talk about later in the show.
Oh, interesting.
It is interesting.
Well, I am excited to talk about that.
Well, then you want to just jump into it?
Yeah, let's
Mr.
go.
Miller? Let's do it. Our first story, Electronic Arts. Are you a fan of the Electronic Arts?
No.
No. No, he says.
They have a pretty terrible reputation, don't they? Weren't they voted the most hated company in America?
Worst company in
once or
America.
twice? Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 years in a row.
Yeah, and that's beating out Comcast.
And Bank of America and a lot of really shitty
AT&T.
all the airlines. So they're hated. Well, maybe this will change your mind. EA has had EA Access for a while, a subscription service for Xbox One. Now they're moving forward with it on PC gaming. They call it Origin Access. And what it does is for $5 a month, you as a subscriber gain access to EA's Vault, which is a free, I don't know why they call it free because you're paying $5 a month, a free continuously growing collection of some of their older games and select third-party titles, launch titles such as Dragon Age Inquisition, Battlefield Hardline, The Sims 3, FIFA 2015, SimCity, and more.
Those are not old games.
They say older, so...
Okay, they're not... Okay. Dragon Age Inquisition was
it's not...
like a year and 2 months ago.
Right. No.
Battlefield Hardline wasn't that long ago either.
I
feel like that gives you a nice idea of what will be there, though.
Yeah, and you'll also get a pre-release trial version of new games as well, and you get 10% off all purchases if you do make them as well. Let's see. It's available now as far as I can tell on your PC. You can just go to EA's website and check that out.
Cool.
It is cool. I think we've talked about before the idea of subscription.
Oh, and $5 a month.
Yeah, $5 a month.
Oh yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, I don't think so. If the games are good, and they say it's what's interesting to me, and again, this could just be phrasing in the article. It says continuously growing, which tells me it's not rotating. They won't pull games off, which some of these subscription services do, where it's like 5 games at any one time, and they cycle them in and out. So I kind of like the idea that it's only going to grow, and you won't have to worry about games being taken off, which is
right.
For $5, good.
Is this like, so PlayStation has a subscription thing that does like you stream things. The game is like run on PlayStation servers and you stream it from there. Is this like that, or is this like you download the game and play it, but you just don't pay for each game?
The latter, as far as I understand it. It will run on your local machine.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like that's something that would probably be good for me, because I've found recently that I've purchased many games, probably more games than I really should have.
Well, and I'll ask both of you guys, because you certainly game more than I do. Do you guys ever go back and replay games? What percentage of games you buy do you do that? I mean, that's to me where the advantage of the subscription model comes in, is because you don't own it. You're not paying the full upfront cost.
Yeah, I think I think certain games I do.
Yeah.
Certain games, yes. Like, I think Fallout 4 is an example of one of those games that I played a bunch of it, and I've been on kind of hiatus for a while, and I suspect at some point I will get bored and go back to it because I didn't finish it. But
well, that's not. I don't. What is your definition of this, Sean? Do you mean finish a game and then finish it again, or do you mean stop playing a game and then start playing it again?
All right, maybe a better way to phrase the question is, on average, do you feel you get $60 worth of value out of playing your games, whereas you might have to wait a while, and it might not be every single game, but for only $5 you can play it?
I don't think I do, honestly.
I've been trying to. I get a lot of value out of the single player games that I buy,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
and less the multiplayer games, which I think is just a function of who I've become.
Yeah.
But so like,
The monster I've become.
yeah, like I wouldn't say that I got $60 worth of entertainment out of Star Wars Battlefront yet. I certainly have gotten that much out of Fallout and The Witcher and Dragon Age, Far Cry. I certainly got that much entertainment. I probably got $60, even though I didn't spend $60 on it. $60 worth of entertainment on Hearthstone at this point. That's free and multiplayer.
Right. Right. I feel like the
Rocket League multiplayer,
I have.
$20, got a lot of value out of that. Sorry.
Ooh, I can play that now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we can't play together.
Aw. Damn you, interoperability.
No, thanks.
Yeah.
Shoot.
That's it.
I need to install Windows on my computer.
Yeah, Dan, get all the Windows.
On the Windows.
Windows 10. It's the future.
Is it? Was it my idea though? Remember Windows 7 was my idea?
Oh, that's right. Oh God. I try to forget those. Do you remember this was back when it was so shitty, when Windows was so shitty after it was Vista, and this was when they were coming out right before Windows 7. They had those like hidden camera commercials where they're like, this is the new Windows you tried out, and they used it, and they're like, this is great, this works perfect. And they're like, it's secretly Vista, and everyone was like, oh, you tricked me. Like, it was so unbelievably shitty, people could not believe. Like, it had such a bad reputation that people were shocked at how good it was. I loved those ads because it only made them look worse. I was like, that's a lose-lose for you guys. Forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
But there are now $60 worth of entertainment is one thing, but then I think you get to the games that you do play multiple times, and I'm trying to think. So I've played Dragon Age Origins multiple times. I've played The Last of Us twice. I think I played one of the Uncharted games twice. I would love to play Mass Effect twice. Those are on my list. I have played, going way back, Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo multiple times. Donkey Kong Country.
Dan, how many times did you play Tetris?
Classic. Legend of Zelda, many times. Tetris? Probably fewer times than I've played Chrono Trigger.
I think So a weird thing that's happened to me is that it takes a while before I want to go back and play a game again. And in recent past, there's a huge cliff or like a huge, I don't know, like I can't go back any farther than before when I got a PS4. Because one, I used to have an Xbox, so they just
literally can't.
Right. And like most of the games you just can't get for PS4. You can't even pay for them. So I just can't go back. I mean, I'll probably never play Halo again in my whole life.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So like older games I would like to play again. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I played the single player in that game like at least 5 times through.
Wow.
I really love that game. I don't know why. I would absolutely play it again too. It was fun.
Yeah, so you have many things to look forward to, Sean.
Yeah, this is
I'm gonna put together. I'll put together my list for Sean, and I'll present it at the next show.
all right.
My list. What three PC games from all time that I think that Sean should play. That's going to be my list.
All right, and maybe if the folks at home are lucky, maybe we'll do a few playthroughs
Aha! Right.
of me playing my video game for the first time. I do have the thing is though, I'm really thinking about cheaping out because I do have a USB Xbox controller, which I know is PC gaming, but I really don't think I can handle a mouse and keyboard well enough to play games. So I can barely type English sentences.
Depending on the type of game you're playing, you'll need the mouse and you can't play Counter-Strike online without a mouse. It would just.
I don't think I could play Counter-Strike online with Oculus. I mean, nothing.
Now that would be. I don't think that would make it easier. I think that would make it harder.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I think, Sean, I don't know. I'm having trouble because I started playing games on PC first, so I might be biased, but I think that playing with a mouse and keyboard is actually much easier than playing with a gamepad.
I've never tried it, so
there are games these days that when you're aiming at something, they snap to the thing.
Well, that's good.
And so you're using. Well, no. Well, hold on. You're using the controller, and you think you're amazing, and you go online, and they don't do that. Call of Duty does this.
Yes.
It'll snap to the people, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm awesome! I can take all these guys out. I'm unstoppable." You go online, you realize you have to actually aim at a person's head, and it's really hard, and they're moving, and that's actually much easier to do with a mouse, I think.
I'm so screwed. This is so not going to go well. But we'll
I
find
can't
out.
wait to watch Sean play competitive games.
Oh no!
It'll be like that video of the grandmother playing Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly. But that's why that's part of the reason why I got such a elaborate setup was because I do think it would be hilarious and I would like to do something with it. So we'll see.
So how many, you got an Intel processor, I'm imagining?
If you really want to know the specs, Stan.
Yeah. Let's dive in.
The one part of the processor that I don't want to say cheaped out on, but this was the one part of the computer I decided to save a little money on. I went with an i5 instead of an i7, and that's because everywhere I read, you don't get that big of a bump, and it is a big price difference. So I went with a higher-end i5. We've got 16 gigabytes of RAM. It is a GeForce 970 video card, 4 gigabytes.
Wait, how many gigabytes of RAM?
16 gigabytes of RAM.
Oh, 16. Okay.
Maxed it out. Video card has 4 gigabytes of RAM, dual fan. The thing is massive.
Yeah.
And the single most expensive piece of the machine.
Yeah.
And then what else? A 250 gigabyte solid state for the OS and programs, and a 2 terabyte for files. And an optical drive, Asus Z97A motherboard,
right?
And in a beautiful fractal design, Define R4 case in titanium gray.
Nice.
So there you go.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
now I am satisfied.
Yeah, it should be good. And at some point, if the video goes up, it'll probably go up on the. I don't know if it'll go up on the show feed or if on my own feed. I got to think about that. But when it goes up, I will link all the specs with the video. And I'll tweet about it at the show account at Don't Panic Show. That I will do. All right. Let's continue on. More news, gentlemen. What else in here? It is a bit of a slow week for news. I'm not going to lie. We haven't really gotten to the new year too much, but we got a few things. What gets your attention in here?
GoPro?
GoPro. We can talk about GoPro. Absolutely. This is a kind of a financial discussion, but I think there's more to it than that. GoPro, you may know them as the company that makes those extreme cameras you strap onto things that move fast. Sadly, their company is not moving fast. They announced this week they're laying off 7% of their staff, facing a 30% revenue drop from fourth quarter of last year. This is they will release their full earnings in a couple weeks. They're kind of doing this in advance so it doesn't look as bad. And they're downgrading what they believe will be their revenue for the quarter. Now, why did this happen? Well, good question. They claim that their last round of products, the Hero 4 Black and the Hero 4 Silver, did well in 2014, but this year when they rolled out the tiny Hero 4 Session, I don't know if you guys remember this, the little cube camera that they came out with.
No.
Exactly, Dan, as you shake your head, exactly. That's the problem. They didn't really talk about it too much, and they priced it way too high. They priced it at $399, which competed with their very top-of-the-line products. Mm-hmm. And this didn't have the features to match it, since they've cut the price literally in half.
Gotcha.
On the Hero 4 Session. So, it's not good. Certainly for that.
Yeah. I was I feel like this is only based on like feelings and my faulty memory, but I remember like I guess it must have been last year or the year before, like GoPro was like super hyped and they had like a ton of early success, and I feel like, not to say that their product isn't good and people won't buy it, but I feel like their like initial like explosive success was not sustainable. Mm-hmm. Like, I like, this doesn't strike me as like, it's not like an iPhone thing where you're gonna buy a new one every year. It's like the kind of thing where, especially at the consumer level, right? Like, somebody who, I don't know, like snowboards and has a GoPro is not gonna buy a new GoPro every year. There's no reason to, and I'm sure they last a while. Like, they seem like quality products, so I'm sure they're not like out the door. So I don't know. I just got the sense that maybe it was a little like overblown at first, and so maybe we're seeing this as the not necessarily bad, but they might have like bitten off more than they could chew, is the or over promise or overestimated like how much of this they could actually sell.
So, did you notice when you were walking around on Sunday, Colby, that there was a guy taking a video of his kid in the snow with a GoPro?
I didn't notice that, but I do recall many, like, when we were traveling Europe, people with like GoPros on sticks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just using them as their video camera. So it's sort of getting back to the flip video. You guys remember flip videos?
I do.
Those were awesome.
Yeah, until your phone did it.
Right.
So what does the GoPro do? Like, I understand if you want a GoPro if you're going diving or snowboarding or skydiving or something like that, but do you really need one for your vacation videos and for taking videos of your kid fail to walk around in the snow?
Yeah. Well, the difference between that and your phone, number one, is quality. And honestly, the GoPro isn't replacing your cell phone. What it's replacing is your Handycam. Families, I don't think anymore, buy the Sony Handycam that they carry around and shoot video with. If they want,
but why not just use your phone?
Higher quality.
Is it really that much better? My phone shoots. Doesn't my phone shoot 4K video now? I think
the majority of people, you're absolutely right. I think it's perfectly fine. I just think you're right. There are going to be some nerds who want the absolute top. When I've shot video for my company using my iPhone, using GoPros, using professional equipment, the whole range. And there is a difference, but you're right. You can get away with a lot on your phone. I just think there is and GoPro, I think this is why they've seen success. There is a big enough market for people. Yes, it's action sports, but it's also people who just want a small camera that shoots really good video. And a lot of professional, you would be surprised at how many of the TV shows you watch and how many of the real professional video you see is shot with GoPros. I mean, Discovery Channel uses them, and it's a big deal.
That's cool.
All those drone fly shots that are so popular in all the documentaries these days and stuff.
I was just watching. I don't know if you saw the Adele James Corden car karaoke thing he did, the Late Show host. Anyway, he does a funny thing where he takes celebrities in cars and they sing karaoke while driving around, and he had Adele on. Anyway, they had 8 different GoPro angles they had strapped to the inside of this car to shoot the two of them driving. A perfect example of that. But I think Colby, you were hitting it on the head when you were getting to the point of GoPro got big fast because they were the first.
Yeah.
And everyone else, if you saw CES this year, one of the big things that we saw a lot of was action cameras and 360-degree cameras and drone cameras and everybody biting off parts of their market share. And it's not that they don't make a great product. It's just now everyone else makes a great product. So they're going to have to deal with that. And I think overpricing a product is exactly the wrong way to go about that.
Yeah, probably so.
So we'll have to see. I think the drone market is going to see the same thing happen, where there's those kind of one or two, your Parrots and your DJIs, but I think you're going to see a lot of new entrants in those markets. 3D printing went through the same thing as well, so it's not uncommon to have this happen to a new industry. But too bad for GoPro. It is a shame. It's never fun to see people laid off, but that's how we rumble. It plays towards my prediction. If you remember, my prediction for 2016 was that the tech bubble was going to burst, and a little early. I'm not just saying I was right, but I was right.
I don't think there's GoPro is not a tech company that I consider part of a bubble. Yeah, I think of Snapchat. I think of that. GoPro's making actual products that people pay money for and buy.
But their stock price was overvalued.
Okay, that's fine.
Imploded.
That's okay.
I think that was the point I was making in my prediction. It was a stock market type prediction. You're right. I don't think they're going to go out of business. I just think that, some of these prices, their stock peaked at like $80 and now it's like 30. But anyway, we're not a stock investing show. Thank God. You're welcome to see my portfolio. It is.
So mine has certainly been doing terribly.
Well, it's just everyone was, invest in energy stocks. They won't go any lower. You're buying at the bottom of the market. And this was like 6 months ago. Like, oh my God, jeez. It's like you're trading at pennies now. You're like, oh, where'd my money go? But enough of my sad life. What else would we like to talk about in the rundown here? We can talk PCs, Netflix, Apple.
Let's do the Netflix thing. I didn't read this story yet, and I didn't understand the headline.
Yes, so it's kind of a technology discussion, but not really. But I think it kind of generally applies to what we're talking about, and this has to do with Netflix. So Netflix announced at the Television Critic Association's meetings this week, which is where all the TV networks meet with critics and say things about what they're going to be doing in the upcoming year. They announced in 2016 they're planning on spending roughly $6 billion, that's with a B, billion dollars in cash on content acquisition and original programming. This is for a company currently at 70 million subscribers. So you do the math. That's a lot of money per subscriber they're spending.
So you have to spend money to make money.
You got to spend money, and Netflix is certainly doing that. Never mind the money that they still owe from this year and last year, because some of these deals are paid over time, so they're still paying off past deals. So it'll be bigger than $6 billion. Is that insane? Has Netflix lost their mind?
I don't know if it's insane. It might be. It very well might be insane. I don't know. I guess we'd have to sit down and do math to figure out if that actually adds up, right? I mean, ideally you want to be making more. I don't know. What's 70 million times? How much does Netflix cost? $8 a month.
Yeah.
So that's $8 a month times 12 months times 70 million is like is 6.7 billion.
Mm-hmm. And that's an average cost per subscriber, because some people pay more.
Right. So I guess it's not like totally crazy in that they're not spending more on content than they will theoretically make on content. I mean, from subscribers. But I don't know. I mean, that seems huge. Maybe good for them. It seems to be the case that is important, right? Or it's definitely the case that it's important. If there are no shows on Netflix, there's no reason to have it.
So, is the point of this article that they think that Netflix is just creating far too many hours of content for it to possibly be a good investment?
Well, to be honest, the article is from Entertainment Weekly, and they're really just talking about what Netflix is airing this upcoming year in shows. So it doesn't really get into is it good or bad. Really, just more that it's a fact. And the argument being is there too much TV, from an entertainment perspective. So this really doesn't get into the business or the tech side of it, but maybe that's for us to decide. I really did think about this because I think you're right, Colby. The math, to some degree, does add up. But that $6 billion says it will get them they will have 600 hours of just original programming in 2016. Which sounds like a big number. But again, 70 million subscribers. It's becoming really apparent to me that Netflix is a data company. And it's kind of a brilliant scheme. They have what no one else has. NBC can't do. And that was a big controversy at the Television Critic Association meetings this week was NBC came out and said they hired a firm to kind of like not hack into Netflix, but to like monitor all their traffic to try and figure out how many people watch, because Netflix doesn't disclose that. But it's a big deal because a company like NBC doesn't have the depth of data Netflix has. And those 600 hours, I guarantee, are so specifically targeted.
Right.
That it is a much more valuable proposition for them to make those.
Right. Well, I mean, correct. Like Netflix can specifically target even if NBC had data, like what they're going to do is like they can only possibly show one thing at a time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So they're going to like do the same thing that TV, I assume, has always done, which is like figure out like at what time of day who is most likely to be watching, and put things on for those people, and that's that's what they can do with their I guess they can only be showing one thing at a time on television. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, I don't even think the major four networks combined to do 600 hours of original programming in a year. I mean, it sounds like a crazy number, but I mean, when was the last time a Netflix show didn't get renewed for another season? I mean, they
what was that one like werewolf vampire one?
Oh, Hemlock Grove, but they did 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah,
but you're right,
yeah,
it did get canceled.
Yeah.
But it's just I would bet their failure rate is shockingly low, and they can afford to spend more when they're all hits. Now the question is, every year they're going to keep ratcheting up this number. At some point, you have to have the subscriber growth match that figure, right? So, and this is, I talked about this in my prediction this year. Netflix's stock is really high, and everyone's riding high on Netflix, and buy Netflix. But the second their subscriber growth plateaus, they're going to be in big, big trouble because they've got so much cash on the line and so much content on the line that if they don't keep up a growth pattern, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I hope that doesn't happen to them. But, we did see them at CES this year announce global availability of Netflix in over 100 countries, which I think is going to be a big boost to them going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, I wonder if some of the content we'll see will be targeted at like other parts of the world, like America. as much as we might not think about it that way, like Netflix is not. I mean, they're a global company. Like NBC is only looking at the United States, and as far as thinking globally, the United States is relatively small. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that content being like, in various languages in different places around the world. And I mean, I think that's really what they need to keep growing their subscriber base. Like one of the things I would imagine will gets people to sign up for Netflix is like, there's this show that everyone is watching and says is great.
Well, and it keeps you subscribed too, which is
right,
huge.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
So, I think that the question of global content is interesting. So on one hand, I know that a lot of people who don't live in the UK or in the United States do watch a lot of television that is in English, especially
Yeah.
American shows. So they watch Game of Thrones. They don't watch it with the Spanish subtitles. They watch it with the English original. Or they don't watch it even with subtitles. They might watch it with subtitles, but they certainly don't have like the alternate track audio track on. And a lot of news sources are primarily in English. So I wonder if Netflix even does need to create original content for other markets like that, or if they just need to market it to those people. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
I know that there are shows in those countries that, like, there's this crime drama show in Germany. I forget what it's called. Everyone watches this show. I forget what day it's on, but it's like you go to the bar and you watch the show. It's a big event. So I think there is some opportunity for that. I don't know if it's a good business idea though.
Now, I just wanted to clarify and make sure I understand. This is $6 billion on like content in general, not just
Right.
original content.
Right.
Okay.
But they will say 600 hours of original programming. So
Right. Which is a lot, but the two are like the 600 hours of original is a subset of
Yes.
like
of the
licensing,
billions,
so-
yes, correct. Yeah, no, and Dan, I think you're right, and that's what's awesome about Netflix is they probably know the answer. They know in Germany they want that cop show and they want it in German, but then they know in France they prefer shows in English and they want to see NCIS because they're fans of that. And like I would love to get a look at their data set and just I'm sure there are all these weird correlations like women under 40 who live in Nebraska really love The Real Housewives of New Jersey on Tuesdays on their iPad. Like they're it's got to be mind-boggling the data they have. Like it's so cool. I love stuff like that. So if Netflix can make it work, more power to them. They don't seem to be slowing down. We've talked on the show before about, they're like a third of all internet traffic in the US. I mean, they're kicking ass. So good for them. They're going to certainly keep spending their way like they are. So
Indeed. I will gripe a little. Like Netflix has been pretty flaky for me on the Apple TV lately.
But-
Ooh, flaky in what respect?
I don't know. Like just sometimes you'll be watching and you'll get like 3 minutes into a show and it pops up like, "Sorry, couldn't play this title," and I'll just
That's
stop.
weird.
And then if you like kill the app and restart, it's usually fine after that. But it's pretty annoying.
That sucks.
So I don't know if that's a Netflix proper problem or like just a software problem or something in between. Could be that Comcast is just being a dick to screw with them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had as you'll see in my pick later, I watched a lot of Netflix in the past week on my Apple TV, and it worked just fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, must be something in between Boston and Netflix.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Computers.
Bummer. All right. Well, I don't have a clock running, so I have no idea how much time we have. But I'm gonna say we have time for one more story if you'd like to talk about that, or we can move on to picks.
Let's do one more story.
Let's do one more story. All right, we've got PC sales declined, the end of Lumia, Apple, iTunes Radio, or Donald Trump. Which of those options?
Oh, come on. It has to be Donald Trump.
Oh, I was hoping we could avoid talking about him on the show. But yes,
This might be the first time we've ever talked about Donald
it
Trump.
literally is. I can basically guarantee it. Because we didn't have a reason to before, but guess what? By the way, on the new graphics package that we're using for the show, and you can see it on YouTube, as I said, in crisp HD, I actually am putting the story descriptions in text on the screen, so people know what story we're talking about if they just tune in. And this one, by the way, says, Trump wants Made in America, blowhard billionaire to force Apple to build in U.S. And it's true. So Donald Trump said in a campaign speech this week that he would force Apple to manufacture its computers and other goods in the U.S. instead of on other countries. I can give you the quote. I don't think I can do a Donald Trump impression. We're going to do what's good for the country. Yeah, I can't do it.
Oh wow, yeah, no.
Yeah, that was no. We are going to do, he said, quote, "We are going to do what's good for the country. We're going to get Apple to build its damn computers in this country instead of other countries. We're getting killed. I guarantee you they would say they would build their plant in the U.S. Free trade is good, but we have to do it or we won't have a country left." That was literally all he said about it. No actual plan or follow-up or details.
Yeah, I mean, I think Donald Trump is fascinating in that he has really like taken and ran with the hypothesis that to be run a successful political campaign, you can just like lie, like just say whatever you feel like saying, regardless of fact or even like whether or not it's something that vaguely resembles reality at all. I don't know this.
Well, I told Colby my theory, and I heard this somewhere else. My theory is that Donald Trump he's hung around a lot of politicians and world leaders, business people. He has hung around these people a fair bit, and he met Tony Blair and Bill Clinton, Vladimir Putin. And he thought, I'm just as smart as these guys. I'm just as charismatic. I'll be president. And that is all the motivation or inspiration that he needed to do this.
Well,
And that's all he's just in it for himself.
Well, and what's amazing is, and I've seen excerpts posted online, but go read Art of the Deal and the books he wrote back, in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He literally spells out exactly what he's doing, except doing it in politics instead of business, like, saying bold claims and pointing out others' deficits. It's like, if you read it, it's like word for word exactly what he's doing. But instead of doing it for politics, he wrote to do it as to screw the other guy in making a deal. So it is interesting, but you know what? I'm gonna stand with Trump on this, for the sake of argument, and keep it tech and not politics.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show. No, why doesn't Apple bring manufacturing back to the U.S.? Should Apple bring manufacturing to the U.S.? Should the government do something? I don't know what, if they could.
Because you can get sued for making a decision as a publicly traded company that would cause you knowingly to make less money.
But we don't know. Would it cause them to make less money?
If it wouldn't, then there would be no reason not to do it. Think about it. It would be the real way to do this is to manufacture your stuff everywhere.
Right.
Because then you have geographic and geopolitical redundancy, reduced shipping times, easier logistics, and less money that you're spending shipping things around and repairing things. But the only reason they don't do that is because this way is cheaper. Otherwise, yes, you should manufacture them in the U.S. and also everywhere else. They should build my MacBook downtown and then just ship it up to me in a local courier.
Agreed. That's a great idea, Dan. Dan, you sound just like Donald Trump. It's like looking at.
I don't know how to keep talking now.
You actually kind of have the Donald Trump hair going a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's thicker, but it's
thicker.
For now.
Ooh. Someone please Photoshop Dan's head with Donald Trump hair.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
I think you can probably buy a wig.
Oh, I'm sure.
Donald Trump
that
wig.
for a second. Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot to say about this. I just thought it was funny, and we could get a good chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to be said about this presidential election. Sadly, this is not the show to do that. But I will say, I know I keep pushing Matt, and he keeps pushing back. I want to in the next couple weeks to do an Up for Debate episode on the race for 2016. So look forward to that at upfordebate.tv. We'll do that at some point. Hopefully, I would like to do it either just before or just after Iowa. So that would be the next couple weeks.
Exciting.
It is
Yeah,
exciting. It's
the
democracy in action.
what is that thing called? The primaries.
The primary. Well, we got the Iowa
Yeah.
caucuses, we've got the New Hampshire primary, and then we've got the South Carolina primary after that. The first big three, and then we move on to Super Tuesday.
Amazing.
Well, actually, no, I think it's Nevada, and then it's Super Tuesday. And then states like Massachusetts and New York, we got to wait till March and April and May to.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't even matter.
By the time it gets to us, it's usually over. Although this year, you never know. Anything can happen.
It's true.
Certainly is. All right, gentlemen. Let's look at some picks, shall we? I see you both.
What the fuck? I definitely put mine in here
Left the
like 3
document.
times.
Well, while you're filling that out, I will go ahead and give my pick for this week. I already mentioned it, but I'll go into a little more detail here for you. I built a PC this weekend. I've never done that before. It is not that hard, actually. 2 hours, and the thing was assembled, so I was pretty happy about that. But the toughest part was knowing what to buy, right? So you're buying anywhere from a dozen or so different components. Each one, you have a zillion options and a zillion places you can buy them, and then all this stuff. It can be overwhelming, so it was recommended online. I used it. It was fantastic. PCPartPicker.com. The letter P, the letter C, partpicker.com. And it is a website designed to help you do it. So it's got a couple different features. You can actually start a system build and actually go part by part. And they've got all the standard, your CPU and CPU cooler, and motherboard and memory and storage and video card. And you can just click and they list all the products and all the features and ratings. And you can click on them and see comments and all of the different facts and figures about what they have. What I love is they have multiple places you can buy it, and they actually track the prices over time. So you can set price alerts, because some of this stuff can get expensive, and the prices fluctuate by $100. It's crazy for some of these things. So what's really great is you can actually save a lot of money using it. They also have completed builds. So if you're like me and you've built a computer, you can post the computer you've built on their website and tell people why you built it, what you put in it, pictures of you building it, answer questions. It's got a community as well. So I used it to pick out all my parts and to do the research, and they tell you what parts are compatible with other parts so you don't mess it up, which I was on the road to doing before they helped me. It's a really great website, and the price alerts were also great too, saved a little money. So if you're thinking about building a PC or just curious about what you might put in one, PCPartPicker.com is my recommendation for you. If you're building a Windows machine, if you're building a Mac, you can't. So just go to Apple.com and buy one. There you go. That is my pick. Who's up next?
I can go next.
Okay,
All
go.
right.
So my pick's Trine 3. It's a game. I'm pretty sure I picked Trine 2 before.
You did.
It's like, yeah. So this Trine 3 just came out, but it's the third sequel the second sequel to the original Trine game, which is also good in addition to Trine 2. But it's fun. It's a fun sort of puzzle co-op puzzle game. Jill and I like to play it on the PS4. I enjoy it. It's so Trine 3 is really pretty. It's the art and the landscapes are very cool. It's I don't know. I hadn't really looked at the reviews. I just saw that it was out and bought it immediately because I like the others so much. It seemed to have not like bad reviews, but also not good. Like pretty middle of the road. It's not like I guess it's not the. It's not the most in-depth game. It's short-ish, but it's also relatively inexpensive. And it's really fun to play. It's fun. It's really fun with one or two other people, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played with 3 people, but I would imagine it's fun.
I didn't know you could play with 3 people.
It's possible that you can't, but I assume you can because there are three characters in the game.
Right.
So I just of just assumed that you would be able to play with 3 people.
That makes sense.
But it's a good time. It's pretty a lightweight game. It's not like you don't have to be particularly invested in it. There's not I mean, there is a narrative, like an overarching narrative, but it's not certainly not required to have played any of the other games to appreciate the narrative in the third one. The third one does add so that the first two were just like side scrollers, like 2D sides. I mean, they're 3D but side scrolling, so they were only 2 dimensions. So that this one adds like some depth. So some of the mechanics and controls changed a bunch, which is interesting. I think they did an alright job transitioning too. So there are definitely some bugs. There's some funky things that you will probably experience, but I'm sure that will be fixed in some software updates in the coming months. But yeah, I like it. It's good. It was worth it. I don't remember how much it cost. It was like $20 or something.
$22, and you can actually get all 3 Trine games for $40.
Yeah, totally worth it.
Cool. Check it out. We'll have the link on our website, don'tpanic.io, along with this episode, so you can check that out. Dan, what do you have for us?
So last week I watched the thing that everyone's talking about. Speaking of Netflix original content, Making a Murder, a massive 10-part, hour-plus long each episode documentary series on Netflix. And it is, if you liked Serial, like the first season of Serial, then I think you'll really like this. It has that same sort of armchair detective vibe going on where you're left to draw you're given a lot of information, but you're left to draw your own conclusions, sort of. They're clearly a little bit biased in the thing, but not that biased, actually, in the face of the accusations. And the 2 defense attorneys who are in some of the episodes are amazing and meme-inducing on the internet. So if you want to understand some internet memes, you have to at least watch a couple of these episodes. And they're great. Yeah, it's very well. It's also it's a pretty documentary. They have lots of drone aerial footage of these like junkyards, where they're like weaving through these cars in like a freshly fallen snow. It was really neat. So checking out Making a Murder on Netflix.
Yeah, we talk about Netflix making a lot of content, but damn, they've got a lot of stuff. Holy shit.
I mean, but someone made this.
It took them 10 years to make it.
Yeah, they were just shopping it around. So, Netflix, I'm sure they paid maybe a lot of money for it.
They bought it like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
They bought it.
Oh, wow. That was smart.
It was like one of their first original content purchases.
That wasn't even smart. That was lucky.
It was pre-Serial and pre all this.
Yeah, I don't think it would be as successful if it weren't for Serial.
Well, did you guys? I know you have HBO. Did you see The Jinx?
Oh, The Jinx. That's the other thing I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yes,
it's also like that.
Yes. So the right place, right time, but it was very good of Netflix to see that before it happened. But I'm excited. It's on my queue. So
it's good stuff.
It sure is. Dan,
watch out for the surprise clip where they just sort of mentioned that some character who you've been seeing for a couple episodes has never owned a single pair of underwear. Just wait for that moment, and they just move on. They don't even address it.
Awesome. Awesome. I know it's been real popular online, so I'm excited to see what's going on. That is it. Gentlemen, anything else you'd like to say or add before we wrap?
Nope. I'm excited to see how your computer works in a video game setting.
If it works, yes, that's exactly.
I'm excited to see your computer work.
Yes, as am I. Again, the reason I got it was so we could have working video and hopefully live video soon. But you got to go watch our video. It's on YouTube. YouTube.com/don'tpanicshow. We were actually lucky. They don't. Did you know YouTube doesn't do custom URLs anymore?
Really?
No.
You have to have you have to have a minimum of like 1,000 or 5,000 subscribers before they'll let you do a custom domain, which is kind of annoying. So we just slipped in before that. So
nice.
YouTube.com/don'tpanicshow. I will also let people know we talked about this on the other show, but I'll remind you here. We've talked about Goldilocks Zone before. Both of these guys have been on in different capacities. We've changed the name. We've had a spin-off. A lot of stuff has happened. Here's the skinny. UpForDebate.tv is the show myself and Matt Mariani do every week on literally everything. I'll give you a teaser. This upcoming week, Matt and I, bracket style, are going to determine our most valuable Saturday Night Live sketch.
Okay.
So we're not picking the best, because that really, what the fuck do we know about it being best? We're going to just pick the one we like the most. But we're going to do it bracket style, and we're going to put some head-to-head, and I actually just made the list, and we've got some...
Are you taking requests?
Well, sure, if you want to shout one out. It's probably on here, but you're welcome to...
I like the I can't even remember the ones, the ESPN whatever.
Oh,
the announcers with the
tampons.
The I don't even know. I don't even know.
Weird ESPN Sports where they're sponsored by the awkward company.
Right.
I will make a note of that.
Yeah.
I have to run them by Matt, but I forgot about those. Those are great. Those old ESPN ones. Yeah, we've got everything from political debates to newer classics like Dick in a Box, and we've got older classics like Matt Foley, inspirational speaker, and cheeseburger. So a lot of really great ones. So you're going to want to check that out up for debate.tv. And we are having a contest. So look for the website and the feed coming up this week. We'll announce more coming up, but we got a cool prize for everybody. So check that out. Also, Colby and Dan on Game Nights, the new podcast that brings the games to you. We play them, you watch or listen to them on our website, GameNights.tv. Go there. We've got our previous 10 editions of Dungeons and Dragons are up there now. We're taping more this week, and they'll keep going up as time moves forward. But you're going to want to subscribe. All the links are on the website. Again, that's GameNights.tv. And that's it for this show. Of course, Don'tPanic.io is our website, at Don't Panic Show on Twitter, and Don'tPanicShow@gmail.com. If you've got questions or feedback, let us know. We do this show Monday nights, and all the links to everything are on the website, so just go there. Don'tPanic.io. We'll be back next week with more tech news, but I guess this means we've got to wrap up. So on behalf of Dan and Colby, this is Sean, wishing you a good night, a happy week, and smooth sailing in the sea of technology. That's a really awkward way to end it, but we're going to do it. So we'll see you next week.